All right, we can now officially usher in the beginning of the school year with having spent the last couple weeks kind of going back and reteaching and modeling a little bit about the flipped classroom. But now the flip begins. You're going to be receiving over the next day or two copies of the DVD if you have dial-up, or if you just simply do not have internet access at home. And for the rest of you, you're going to start to do some of your work at home on your computers, as well as things that we'll be doing in class as well. So, in simple terms, let me give you a brief introduction as to what's going to be taking place today. You are going to start by taking a pre-test over 4 different standards that we're going to be covering over the next 2 weeks in class. And I'll take you right to where those things can be found. So you'll notice right down here in the corner, you'll find the weekly assignments, and we're going to click on the 4th week, which is 9/26 to 9/30. That'll take you right here, and we'll start with Monday. So today you're going to be taking pre-tests, and you'll notice that the pre-test links for E5.4-1, B, C, and D are located here. What you'll also notice is number 3. We're going to be talking about and introducing what we're going to simply call the student checklist. And what that checklist is going to be covering is, well, what you're going to be learning in class. This is going to be used right here. You're each going to receive a copy of this. And this will tell you what the learning target, what the state of Michigan says that you need to know for your MME test that you will take during your junior year. There are 4 major learning targets: E5.4-1, 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 and D. And what we've done is we've created a resource along with the required activities and whether or not it's going to be counted as a formative, which is practice, or if it's going to be counted as summative, which is a grade. So you're going to be using this list, and Mr. Fuzak and I are going to go through this with a lot more detail regarding, when to check it off and when you talk to us and communicate with us whether or not you have completed it and it's ready to be completed, done, and ready to move on. So what we're going to start with today is pre-tests on all the 4 standards. We want to know what you know regarding the topic, and the topic that we're going to study is climate change. A lot of people lump in climate change with global warming. The two kind of go together, but there's also some major differences between them. And the reason why is the term global warming kind of got a bad rap, and maybe still does in some of your minds. But the fact is that climate change talks about specifics, where global warming, although it talks about specifics, sometimes just is a general trend about that the earth is warming, where it doesn't necessarily, people tend to not think about it in terms of climate and how climates across the world are changing, both getting warmer and also getting colder. So what we're going to be focusing on is what is the mechanism, what's the thing that's driving it. So what we're going to start off with is you taking the 4 pre-tests, which are linked right here. So when you click a link, you'll be taken to ProProfs, which is the test site that we're going to be using all year long. And what you'll do is you'll type in your name, and then you'll type in the password, which we will provide for you in class. Okay. Reason why we don't want it to leak out and people to share it, and we change the password, and sometimes we don't put a password there when it comes to class, but again, it's password protected. So you'll take E5.4-1, we'll see how you do, E5.4-1, same thing, and then C and D will also take you to the same websites as well to take those tests. And what we'll do is we're going to record what your scores were, but it's not going to count, and here's why. This is a pre-test to see what you know, and then we're going to use that to compare your level of growth, how much you have gained in knowledge. So you may start by not knowing anything about global warming or the topic of climate change, and then eventually you will show that you have gained some knowledge and then continue to learn along the way. And we'll be tracking that in PowerSchool. And that's what standard-based is. We are going to test you simply on what the standard says. So when looking at your checklist, the standard says for E5.4-1, explain the natural mechanisms of the greenhouse effect. So there's one question on your test. Can you explain the mechanisms of the greenhouse effect? Can you also compare the major greenhouse gases? Water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and ozone. That's what you're going to be tested on. Nothing more, nothing less. What it says there is what you're going to be tested on. Period. Now, you may not understand what that learning target says. That's where Mr. Fuzak and I will be working with you to teach you how to understand the learning targets. Okay? So, focus of today in this video, E5.4-1, is to give you a brief summary again about the checklist that you see right here, also about standard-based grading, and then also the pretest. Should you have any questions, do not hesitate to let us know.